¿Qué tal todos? My name is Jacob Yoderschrock, and I am the managing director here at Teatro Visión. Welcome to La Hora del Mitote. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. La Hora del Mitote is our live stream conversation series, and this is a special episode called Pláticas as part of our 40th anniversary series. La Hora del Mitote se transmite por nuestra página de Facebook, en nuestro canal de YouTube, también por Instagram Live. And it'll also be broadcast after the holidays on Comcast Channel 30, thanks to Create TV. So, bienvenidos to La Hora del Mitote. We thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching along live on social media today, we invite you to participate, sending us your questions, your comments. We love chatting with all of you, and we have a lot of special guests joining us today, and they're all excited to chat with you and to know what you're thinking. And to celebrate the holiday season with you. I'd like to start off acknowledging today that we're occupying the ancestral homelands and current territories of the Muwekma Ohlone and other Tamian-speaking people who continue to live and thrive in our local community and steward our lands and waterways today. And so I just want to take a moment to recognize that. Today's episode of La Hora del Mitote is celebrating the fact that this year we celebrated Teatro Visión's 40th anniversary. You might remember from our very first episode of La Hora del Mitote, our Pláticas series back in January, that launched our event series this year called 40 años, 40 eventos, to celebrate our 4-decade history in ways that honored our past, uplifted our present, and are helping to build the future of our teatro here in San Jose. For those of you who might be newer to Teatro Visión, we're a theater company whose work amplifies the voices of Latinxes, creates a dignified and empowering sense of identity, inspires action, builds respect and understanding, and explores the social and psychological experiences of Latinxes through participatory community-based theater. Tonight, as part of this event series, and we actually wrapped up our 40 eventos last weekend, so this is evento número 41, just to ring in our 41st year next year. Tonight we're gathered with community members, community leaders, artists who made our programs this year possible. They all contributed, attended our events, made our productions and our community events and workshops a possibility. So we're so excited to chat about their experience at our shows, at our events, and to talk a little bit more about their work in our community and our local arts landscape. We're really proud here at Teatro Visión to be a part of a wider network of organizations and arts groups doing the important work to keep our cultural landscape thriving. So we're excited to partner with all these people and chat with them tonight. We're going to be joined by Rosana Alvarez, Laura Merrill, Liana Salikova, Magali Fernandez, and Gustavo Gallardo. I can't wait for you to get a chance to chat with each of them, to meet them if you haven't chatted with them before, and to reconnect with our community in this way. Starting off this evening, we're chatting with an artist who's been working with Teatro Visión for a few years, who is a big supporter of Teatro Visión, Laura Merrill. Hi, Laura. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Welcome to Teatro Visión. Laura, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about yourself, about your work in theater, and a little bit about what brought you to Teatro Visión.
Sure. My name is Laura. I am a theater tech. I'm also the properties artisan for Teatro. I started my foray into theater in 2021 when I started college. During 2020, I went back to school and decided to get my high school diploma. My teacher talked me into going to college. I was already a stage manager for a neo-burlesque show in downtown San Jose called The Circus of Sin for a few years. So I knew I was interested in live performance, and that led me to the theater tech program at Foothill. My main influence there was Lee Henderson, who put out a little notice to her students that said we were looking for an electrician for Don Quixote. So I helped put up lights for that show. And I just really enjoyed working with Teatro and formed a bond with the people there, and have been there for the last 2 years doing electrician work and light board op and properties design and anything I can really get my hands on.
Absolutely. You're a special guest tonight, in particular because you were involved in both of our productions this year and very closely. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your work on those shows, and give us a little bit of a look behind the scenes from your experience.
Yes. So La Mariposa, Breaking Through, was my first properties design for Teatro. It was very challenging, both because it was two different directors, wanting actually quite similar things. So it worked out really well. But also, most of the things needed to be made out of cardboard to correlate with the show itself. And that was a lot. And it was so much fun. And I never knew I could make so many different things so differently and so intricately with cardboard and other paper-like products. So that's a big part of properties design is and build is starting projects you've never ever thought to do before, and now you know how to use a whole new medium in and out because you had to do it for this whole project. So I'm definitely an expert with cardboard now. And then Macario, that was a lot of fun. That was Macario's been done so many times that I was definitely coming in on something that was already very, like, I was coming in on somebody's family to this particular show. And just, you know, a lot of the properties were actually in the hands of like either the director or another artist, and I had to gather all those along with trying to rebuild and make new some props that have been used for years, and that was also very cool.
The way you revamped the props pieces for Macario, I know our team really appreciates and really loved. Diane has been Diane, our production manager, for viewers who haven't had a chance to meet her, has been raving about the 3D printed Calavera horse puppet that Laura created.
Yes.
That is, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how you made that piece?
Well, in this house, we are a house of artists, and we support one another in some of our more larger buys. So my partner was like, I really want to get a 3D printer, and I don't know how to tell you about that. And I was like, I don't know why you would think this would be a problem. So we acquired a 3D printer, and since then I have been wanting to use it in certain aspects that made sense, and this one definitely made a lot of sense. I needed a light piece that I wanted a lot of detail with, and I was like, I think there's the Natural History Museum has a 3D print file library, and I think I can print out a full-size horse skull in 8 separate pieces, but get all those epoxied together, and it really worked out nicely. I think the thing that scared me the most about making that was making sure the paint job was perfect.
Totally. I mean, it looked amazing on stage, and I'm excited for people to be able to use it for years and years. I want to take a moment with you to look at some of the photos from the productions that you worked on, because we can see some of the prop pieces in them, especially for La Mariposa and Breaking Through. For folks watching, this was an adaptation of Francisco Jimenez's memoirs of a young child of migrant workers growing up in California. The first piece, La Mariposa, focused on his youth, and Breaking Through focused on his high school experience. And when Laura says that the props were all created of cardboard, they really were all everything was made out of cardboard. Laura, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the director's vision of why everything was cardboard boxes.
Yes. Francisco Jimenez, the young boy, him and his family come over from Mexico. And when they come over, they travel with only what they can carry in their cardboard maletas, the cardboard boxes. And that really sprung from there. And then everything else was in relation to that. His whole life was in this cardboard box. And we then made the whole living environment out of cardboard.
And you did it in such a detailed way. And when everything was made out of cardboard, like even the glass jar with the butterfly in it in the classroom that the kids are looking at was made out of cardboard. You also made this very beautiful, it's very small on here, but butterfly puppet that came out of the jar during La Mariposa. And I just want to highlight the level of detail. Even the books were cardboard they weren't just regular books, they were cardboard boxes turned into books. And did you hand paint all of these pieces as well?
Yes, all of them were hand painted. I made about 8 different books. Some of them were textbooks. Some of them, actually, give me just the fastest of seconds because this is right here. Yep. This is one of the ones that I kept. That was a faux book because the rest of the pages aren't anything.
That's beautiful. Laura, thank you so much for talking us through your experience on those projects. I was just wondering, right before we wrap up, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about what's something that stands out to you about working with Teatro Visión.
Everybody's both very professional and very calm, and when I say it feels like a family, it's because everybody's known each other for such a long time. And everybody just knows how everybody else works, and it functions very fluidly, and it's just really nice to be in an environment like that and to be able to jump in and work fluidly within that environment pretty quickly was very nice too, very welcoming.
I'm so glad to hear that, Laura, and we're so glad to have you as part of that family. Thank you for being a part of our Teatro Familia. Thanks for taking some time to chat with us here on La Hora del Mitote. I hope you have a happy holidays, and we can't wait to see you at the theater again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody who's connected with La Hora del Mitote tonight. Feel free to send in your questions and comments as we chat. That was Laura Merrill, our props artisan here at Teatro Visión this year. And tonight, next up, I have the pleasure of chatting with, among many of the community members that we're chatting with here tonight, Rosana Alvarez, an artist, writer, director, community leader. Gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, Rosana. How are you? How's it going?
Good. I'm happy to be here. It's a lovely Friday where the wind isn't winding, and it's pretty mild weather considering the times. So happy to be here with you all on a Friday night.
Thanks so much for taking a little bit of time. And yeah, I agree. I'm glad it has not been too gloomy and stormy. I see you're all set up for the holidays back there. That tree looks awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got 3 not so littles anymore, so they've learned to have some expectations. We got to keep it twinkly and magical up in here. So we are ready for the holidays.
Oh my gosh, I hope that if they have so many expectations, they're helping set up the tree and everything.
Right.
Well, Rosana, I was hoping you might tell us a little bit about yourself, your work in the community, and then we'll talk a little bit about teatro.
Yeah, when everybody says, introduce yourself, creative folks have a hard time with that one because we're very contextual and we're prone to collaborate. And, you know, we're always in the mitote. So fitting that I would be here on a Friday night in this mitote and just kind of talking about that process. But in my role within La Raza Historical Society, I get to bring some of those creative pieces of myself to different platforms, different collaborations, different projects where we all kind of have these ideas. And of course, when you talk to a creative about ideas, they're plans, right? I always tell people, if you start talking to me about a project, I'm already lacing up my shoes and I'm getting ready to run. So you need to tell me up front if you need me to sit down for a bit or walk, because I'm ready. Like as soon as somebody says, what if, or can we, it's always a how is kind of where my brain goes. And then what that looks like I already have a clear vision once something is spoken. And so when you all approached us and asked if we wanted to collaborate in some kind of way, it's like, of course. And it made so much sense because we're constantly in collaboration through other things like Eastside Magazine, like collaborating as an artist myself on, you know, stickers for Becoming Mar a couple of years back with Maribel Martinez. So it just always makes sense to say yes to Teatro Visión.
Oh, we're so glad to have you as a partner, Rosanna. For Becoming Mar, did you create the little schools, the stickers for the school that challenged you?
I think she reached out to, I want to say 3, but it may have been 4 artists, and we each got a few designs, and I know I did 2. It might have been 3. It's Friday. My Friday math ain't mathin', but I know I had a preview glimpse of that script, and it was beautiful to kind of have my own read and my own time to envision what that could look like through a series of stickers. And then to see the show, and then to see folks with the stickers in their hands and have those little recuerdos of how the story speaks beyond the stage. And so I feel like the collaboration we had a few months back with La Raza Historical Society and Excentrico Magazine, and bringing in those elements of storytelling, it was very parallel, right? So for me, it just seems so kind of organic in how we function in the creative world.
Yeah, I mean, that our recent collaboration was, as you say, a great way of helping the story live beyond the stage. We came to La Raza Historical Society as we were doing this production of La Mariposa and Breaking Through, this production of Francisco Jimenez's memoirs, wanting it to provide space for our community, our audience, to connect their lives and their experiences to the story, their personal memories of living in this region and their ancestral histories. And y'all jumped on that project, and we were so glad to have your partnership. Could you tell viewers who might not have been there a little bit about what we did together?
Yeah, and then, you know, the reason we jumped on that so willingly was because Francisco Jimenez is one of our advisory board members, and he is one of my mentors and former professors and forever teachers. And so, of course, I was going to say yes. And of course, La Raza was going to say yes. And then we kind of were like, but what specifically could we do with this collaboration? And, you know, we kind of had this big old plan, and sometimes the universe works the way it works, and people show up when they show up, and things work out. And so for me, you know, when you invited me here to kind of visit what that looked like, I was like, well, what did we even do? I remember what we thought we were going to do. And I remember that changed. And I remember leaving there feeling like, wow, that changed for a magical reason, because what I do remember about what we ended up doing, which was we were there, we had Excentrico Magazine as a pop-up display. And then we had, you know, folks talking to us. But the beautiful thing was that some of those butterflies that you had up on screen earlier, folks were able to think of their own migration stories. And, you know, people think of migration as being just folks who come from different countries. And the fact is, we all have migration stories. Like we had an opportunity to hear from folks who said to us, our family has been here for generations, and still there is a migratory process, you know, and even talking about the future generations. So how some of their children have ventured out into other parts of the state or of the nation or even to other countries. So just hearing people talk about their story in connection to either what they were about to see on stage, in reaction to what they saw by way of the pop-up exhibit of El Excentrico capturing these classic moments in our local history, it felt like such a gift to be there in the lobby and have folks trust us with their stories. And I met so many people that day. And I also had the opportunity to hear from people I thought I knew because I know them, right? But to know them in a different way with a personal story, with that piece of connection and really seeing how, you know, all these butterflies come together and we're telling a collective story. And I think for me, that felt like such a treat that nobody could have planned the specifics as perfectly as the things kind of just fell in place, right? There was a plan, there was an intention, and I think that's where the magic kind of still allowed for things to shift the way it needed to. Very much like theater, right? There's a script, there's rehearsal, and still sometimes the show must go on, and sometimes it makes the kind of magic that you couldn't quite plan for. And it felt like that was what was happening in the lobby that day.
Absolutely. And I'll show some of these photos as we keep chatting, but I think that really our community really filled in the rest of that gap. And when you say they like trusted us with these stories, like people throughout the run of La Mariposa and Breaking Through, and then even in the months since then, we've had these butterfly installation available at several of our events. And people have kept adding butterflies and kept sharing memories of their families. I think the prompt that we give has to do with the story about how people arrived in this country or arrived in this region. But people have shared just family milestones of all kinds. And it's been a beautiful opportunity to connect to the stories that bring people together, for people to map out their histories alongside the history, alongside Francisco Jimenez's story. I know was really valuable. People even wrote on some of those butterflies, "This is what I read Breaking Through for the first time."
Yes.
And it was a really beautiful experience. And we're so grateful that it was through the conversations with you that we were able to ideate this installation, and it was such a powerful touch point.
And it was exciting for us to really be in community in a space where some of our board members helped bring the plaza to existence alongside Blanca Alvarado back in the day. And a lot of folks have also, you know, interfaced with Teatro Visión in a variety of ways that I'm not even going to try to call in here, because I'll get the calls later and they'll be like, well, you forgot this part of the story. And so the fabulous thing about La Raza Historical Society is that it's a gem of local history. And there are so many pathways that converge in storytelling. And so what I found in going out and collaborating and not just ideating, but bringing those ideas to life with you all is that that history isn't just something that happened before, kind of like the stories of the folks who put their mariposa on the different decades. They're stories that are very present with us. The history is alive in how we walk in the world and how we collaborate with each other. And so to be able to represent La Raza Historical Society that day was also very special, because a lot of what we do on a regular basis is preserve, archive, and educate folks on local history. But it's also another thing to see people get twinkly-eyed about history, because I think we come to think about history in ways that we're forced to learn certain things by rote memorization in classrooms. And we've got a lot of creative teachers that use, you know, your work as Teatro Visión, but also the work of Francisco Jimenez and hopefully some of the tools of La Raza Historical Society to be able to get people excited about what they're learning in the classroom. And I have a lot of educator friends, and they go above and beyond every day. And so it's a pleasure to also be able to support that outside of a classroom space to make that a little bit easier, but also just to really get people grounded in the very vibrant and rich history that lives not just in the East Side, but in San Jose and regionally, and especially among Raza folks, and Raza in the most inclusive sense, where yes, there's a strong Chicana history, but there's also this strong history of solidarity and collaboration that cuts across racial lines and differences. And I think in that way, history is a celebration of our diversity. So again, it was just beautiful seeing all of those mariposas in their bold colors, taking up so much space on those boards and carrying so much weight. Quite literally, some of those mariposas kept falling off of the boards, and we were having fun just kind of creating stories about, beautiful hauntings in the space as a result of calling in those ancestors and that living history.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rosanna. I could not have said it better than that. We strive at Teatro Visión to create environments where our audience can connect their personal stories, connect the histories that they're a part of to a bigger picture of our community, of our shared histories, and we hope that Teatro Visión's performances can be a place that they can do that. And we're so grateful to have partners like you that help us uplift that and keep ensuring that art is something that's for everybody and an opportunity for everybody to connect and build and grow together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to invite folks who are a fan of Rosanna and her work. You can also check out her website and her portfolio at rosanaalvarez.com. Will folks find a bit more information about your work as an artist and a writer there as well?
So it's kind of the page where I try to figure out how do I not translate myself into a context, but kind of just say, here's everything I do. And folks say, wow, you wear many hats. And I say, no, I wear one kopili, one headdress, and it has several feathers. And sometimes those feathers look like they're configured differently, but it's the same batch of creative activation. And so you'll find everything from my books to links to Eastside Magazine, because part of this work is also encouraging people to tell their own stories in whatever voice that needs to come out of you, in whether it's your literal voice in singing or spoken word or writing or drawing or photography, what have you. You'll find links to all of the mitotes I'm a part of. And I try to also link back to mitotes like this so that if folks missed it in real time or want to revisit it, they definitely are welcome to check it out again.
Thank you so much, Rosanna. I encourage folks to check out Rosanna's work. Thank you for being a part of La Hora del Mitote tonight. Thanks for being a part of the greater web that is the Teatro Familia. And I can't wait to see you at the Teatro again sometime soon.
Likewise. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody who's tuned into La Hora del Mitote tonight. If you want to share this with friends and family to tune in later, as Rosanna mentioned, you totally can. We're streaming on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram Live. We'll also be on local access television next week. Please send in any questions or comments. Those of y'all who are listening in, we love chatting with you. And this evening, we're gathered with members of our community who have helped celebrate our 40th anniversary through our year-long events series, 40 años, 40 eventos. And if you feel so inspired to contribute to making the next 40 years of Teatro Visión happen, we encourage you to support our end-of-year fundraiser at teatrovision.org/give. You can help play a role in making the next 40 years of Teatro Visión a reality as well. Thanks again for tuning in. Next up, I have the pleasure of chatting with a community member, community leader, and supporter of Teatro Visión who's been deepening our connections to the community all year long, Liana Salikova. Welcome, Liana. How are you doing this evening?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so grateful to be here with you. Liana, we've had a pleasure of partnering with you, but I want you to share, before we dive into all of that, I'm hoping that you can share a little bit about yourself and your work in the community for folks who haven't met you yet.
Right, so I work at Vigillution. It's a community farm located in East San Jose. So it's right in Emma Prush Park, so we're sharing space with the park. And yeah, our work is centered in the community. So the idea, our mission is to bring people from diverse backgrounds together and connect them through food and farming. And I manage one of the programs at Vigillution. So it's called Eastside Grown, but it's also part of a bigger program, which is called Jobs to Grow, Trabajos para Crecer, where together with Grail Family Services, we provide it's an educational program for residents of East San Jose to start their own business So it's either food for anyone who joins Vigilation program, or it's childcare for anyone who joins Grail Family Services. And I think you came in with the idea of joining, collaborating together, which was absolutely perfect, because I think as part of the program, we try to share stories of our participants, because pretty much all of the participants came here, like they migrated recently or a long time ago. So, I think looking for different ways of telling their stories. And the project that you offered to join was like, I was like, I cannot miss this opportunity. So I think,
it's been a wonderful partnership this year. Teatro Visión has commissioned poet and activist Yosimar Reyes. He's also the Santa Clara County Poet Laureate, to create a new play based on the experiences of Mayfair residents and San Jose's East San Jose's community in general. And as part of that, we've been doing workshops and had just such a powerful workshop with Vegilution and Grail Family Services as part of the Si Se Puede collective last, I believe it was late May, early June. And Liana helped us convene several of those participants who shared their stories. Can you share a little bit more about what that experience was like for your Jobs to Grow, or sorry, Eastside Grown participants?
Yeah, I think it's both of them. We had representatives from both programs. I think it didn't take a lot of convincing. I think because you shared the idea of the project, so to create a play, No Llegamos Aquí Solos.
Yeah, No Llegamos Aquí Solos.
Yeah, so that it would be based on the stories of residents of East San Jose, and then to highlight their experience, to include the experience, to tell the stories. And I think we came to all the participants with this idea, with this background, that there is a project and we're looking for ways to contribute. And I think knowing some of the very strong stories about participants, I think we had a group of, I don't remember, 15, 16 participants, right? Yeah, and
we've filled up Somos Mayfair.
Yeah, right. And I think having also Yosimar share his story, and then a little bit more details of the project, I think, and open up, it created a very trusting environment. I think it was very welcoming, warm, safe. So we heard. It was difficult, but at the same time, I think having a group of people sharing some similar experiences, coming here, and some of the barriers, some of the challenges, and some of the also good things that they discovered here. And I think we saw also a lot of support through the sharing. So a lot of emotions, a lot of cries, but then also laughs and support. So that was very beautiful. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results of it. I think it's planned for the next year, right?
Yes. So Yosimar is hard at work weaving kind of the stories that he gathered in those workshops. All of those participants, they shared stories verbally, but they also, Yosimar guided them through a writing exercise, reflecting on their personal histories and the way that their personal histories are connected to kind of the political landscape and what that means to them. So now he's taking what they've created and is working to weave those together into a story about some East Side residents. And we're really excited to share that. We unfortunately had to delay a stage reading that we were going to have this winter, but early in 2025, we're excited to bring all of those participants back to kind of see the fruits of the stories that they invested and that they trusted Yosimar to steward. And then our plan is throughout the next year, we're working on being able to share more of a production with our community to celebrate those stories more fully. But the workshops really in this project are such an important part of the piece itself. The goal is to have a production that tells these stories and uplifts the story of our community, but we also believe, and I feel like saw so clearly in the workshops that we did, the power of storytelling in and of itself. Like the workshops themselves, like Liana, you were talking about how people were like brought to tears, but also like because it was this environment where everybody was telling stories. In just 2 hours, people shared a lot about their personal experiences, and I think that like that act of telling a story invites somebody else to tell a story too, and it creates this beautiful chain reaction of shared experience. And I'm curious. I haven't gotten to ask you this. Like, have participants talked about that experience since then? Did they have takeaways that?
I think because we didn't have, I think the environment was so perfect and so like the goal was there, everything was there. Like we never had the same conversations after this. Maybe like on one-on-one chat conversation in a smaller setting, in a smaller group, but not in such a big group. So that was also a surprise for me because I think Yosimar did some kind of magic to open up so many stories and not also not easy stories to share. I think like relive even this experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that he does have such a talent of in the way that he shares of himself and the spaces that he creates. We're grateful to partner with him, and we're so glad to have gotten to work with you all, and are excited to bring your participants back to keep experiencing these stories and building this for our community. We're really grateful for you. Liana, before we go, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about, are there any ways that people can support Vegilution's work, get involved? If any of our viewers are food workers in our community who are interested in your program, what should they do?
That's a great question. I think there are various ways of supporting Vegilution. First of all, every Saturday the farm is open. I think this Saturday will be the last one before holiday break, and then we'll be back in January. But yeah, on Saturdays we have a youth garden and then farm stand. So all locally grown produce. We work with small local farmers. We grow produce ourselves, so anyone can purchase it there. And then there are different ways of volunteering at the farm, harvesting, sowing things, and then also we have monthly events to bring community together. So it's called First Saturday, every first Saturday of the month, except January because of the weather and all the holidays. So it's almost like a mini fiesta for the entire community because we have a lot of activities. We have Zumba, sometimes yoga, then lots of resources, and then cooking class. So it's where we cook with the community, and then we'll also enjoy lunch with the community at the end of the event.
Yeah. That is awesome. I've had a chance of going to one of the first Saturdays last year, and it's a beautiful community event and very fun. And the food is amazing. I highly recommend that people join. And I also learned about air quality in San Jose. It was a powerful experience. I encourage everybody to spend more time with Vegilution. The work you all do is really, really valuable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liana, for being a part of this community, for taking some time to join us here on La Hora del Mitote tonight. I'm excited for our next collaborations and for more time with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for inviting. Yeah, looking forward to all the upcoming collaborations too.
Thank you, Liana. And thank you to everybody who's liked our pages and our event tonight. Feel free to send questions and comments. If you're just tuning in, we're gathered with members of our community here for La Hora del Mitote, celebrating our 40th anniversary. And I'm overjoyed now to get to chat with a really enthusiastic supporter and big lover of Teatro Visión, Magali Fernandez, who's we've got to work with a few times throughout the year and is a big supporter. Hi, Magali. How are you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. How about you guys?
I'm doing well. It's inspiring to chat with everybody who's here about all the work that Teatro has done this year, and it means a lot to have you here with us.
I've been enjoying every speaker and learning a lot, and truly inspiring stories. And I just can't express how much the art is important, and it's been showing through these last speakers how it connects not only visually but also emotionally with everyone. So, a little bit about me: I do a lot of outreach and I work a lot in the community. I worked in a lot of events, and I've been honored to work with you guys in a few of the events. But I'd like to speak about a particular one where it was a cultural event, and we have a diverse communities that come in. It was a rainy day. Most of our visitors were leaving, and out of the nowhere there's like this beautiful voice that came in, and we were all like looking around, where's this voice coming from? And she had an amazing voice, and she was coming into the stage area, and then all of a sudden it was like actual part of the Macario story. And that moment, people started coming back. They started coming back. That voice attracted them back. That voice brought like attention to their ears, to their eyes, and they started sitting down. And then all of a sudden, we heard another voice, and I think that interaction with the público, with the visitors there, was making a difference. And also at that moment, I also noticed like we've done a lot of events and we do a lot of resource connections, and okay, here's this resource for, I don't know, vaccines, for mental health, for this and that. But then I don't know if they've noticed the benefit of the art, as well as you know, that's also beneficial for us, right? For mental health, for emotional health. The people that were there, you can sense they were very in tune. They were visually locked in. They were experiencing the moment, which I feel like sometimes you cannot do that on screens. As much as you're on social media, as long as you're watching TV, a movie theater, it's not the same experience. And maybe people don't have that opportunity to actually take a moment and go to a theater and go through this amazing experience, and for you guys to come and actually provide that experience was just amazing. And I'm and it was in Spanish, but somehow we had Vietnamese people right there, and they were like really locked in. And then you would see also some other people like with the tears in their eyes. Like, it was very, very connecting, very emotional.
We were so glad to be a part of that event, because like I agree with you so much that there's something in art and in theater that brings people together, and that is so important for health in a very real way. We were really excited this year with Macario to be a part of Binational Health Week in Santa Clara County, and to get to be a part of health related events and uplift health themes at the production of Macario. Many folks who have seen Macario will remember that it tells the story of this Macario who gets this power to heal his community, and he has to figure out how to use it. And it means so much to us to get to use the power of theater in the same way, and also that people like you see that, Magali. It's means a lot. And our production manager Diane says gracias.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's amazing. It's a feeling. It's un, you cannot describe it. You have to see it. How it impactful it is to people, and like I said, it has no language barrier, because we had different languages, even though the production was in Spanish. Um, People were still attracted. They were still listening. The visualization, the acting, it looked so real. Like, it was magnificent. I don't know. I can't say enough words, but like, just to, break those barriers, like the language barriers and everything. And they might not know what it's being said, but they might understand the whole action, the acting and everything. So what's going on, and to be able to transmit that, I think that's just amazing.
Thank you so much. Diane says that we get the same response from our student matinees. Like the kids are so engaged. Um, not as on their screens as they usually are. There is something about like being live and together that I think pulls a different emotional response from people, and I really feel that talking to you too. I'm curious what your experience of the event, the performances that you saw yourself, like was there any highlights of the production of Macario that you saw that really is standing out to you?
I think just the singing part, like you like when we see singers and we like put a lot of money into all these singers that they're like right and they're getting all popularity and this and that, but then when you actually go and like I to the like when I went and saw the Macario thing production, it was like, how is this beautiful voice not like is everybody in the world, can they see it? How can I bring that voice, these voices? It just it's out of this world. I don't know. I think we are not giving the attention, enough attention, or like how can we have these people have be known by others and be like moved, move other people as we are being moved ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you, Magali. And I hope that, um, as we move into this 41st year at Teatro Visión, we're able to bring more people in and that more people are able to experience the work. And we're so grateful to you for helping us reach more community members and deepen that impact. It means a
Thank
lot.
you. Thank you, thank you. I would also say like the productions not only they also spark conversations. Like we were talking about in with my coworkers, we were like, "Oh, have you seen the production with Macario?" They're like, "No, we read the book, but this and that." So it's also like it sparks like more interest and like it's a way of making conversation, having other people like get interested in all of that. So I think yeah, I think keeping up this great, amazing job that you guys doing, and that it looks not like a job, it looks more like something you guys love to do. So yeah.
Thank you, Magali. And I think that your point about like the way that this sparks conversation outside of the theater, I think especially in this world where people are more and more isolated, more and more divided, more and more stuck to their phones and technology, having community events of all kinds, I think, are so important for giving people places to build bridges, to find commonality, to find ways to stay. I think I like to say that arts engagement is civic engagement. That participating in the arts is participating in your civic community in a deep and important way. And so it's nice to have folks like you do that with us.
No, thank you. And you guys are creating roots and about the youth, and hopefully they take in all of this and they take the importance of continuing the arts and continuing to empower these youth to um, there's other things aside from engineering, aside from which is not bad. I mean, it's good,
It's
but I
important.
mean, also the potential of art is amazing, and it benefits in a lot of ways, more in the soul, in the brain, and the emotional, and everything.
Absolutely. Magali, thank you so much for joining us here on La Hora del Mitote tonight. I'm grateful to have gotten the chance to chat with you. Is there do you have anything coming up that you'd like people to know about to come out to before we wrap?
No, I think for now it's just keeping busy, but thank you everyone. I I cannot say enough that if you guys have not been to a performance, please just go. It's something different from seeing it from a TV, from hearing about it, from reading about it. You have to live the experience in person.
Gracias, Magali.
Muy gracias.
And thank you to everybody who's joined us here for La Hora del Mitote. Our final guest this evening is an artist and community member who's been supporting Teatro Visión for several years and actually who helped us wrap up 40 años, 40 eventos last weekend. Bienvenido, Gustavo Gallardo. ¿Cómo estás, Gustavo?
Muy bien, gracias por tenerme aquí y darme la oportunidad de compartir mi experiencia.
Sí,
Estoy contento. Desgraciadamente, por cuestiones personales, tengo que atender esto aquí en mi carro, pero contento de estar aquí contigo.
ay, gracias por tomar un poco de tiempo este viernes. Gustavo, ¿nos puedes decir un poco sobre ti y sobre tu trabajo en la comunidad y qué te trajo a Teatro Visión? Ah,
Bueno, yo soy mexicano. Mi relación con las artes empieza desde muy pequeño, actuando en la escuela, bailando, haciendo música, cantando sobre todo desde muy pequeño. Llegué al teatro hace algunos años, siempre me gustó el teatro en México, estuve actuando un poquito cuando estaba joven y tuve un maestro de teatro y muchas cosas que hice cuando estaba joven, pero dejé todo eso por la profesión, mi profesión. Y hace un tiempo un amigo me invitó al teatro a ver precisamente la obra de Macario. Y cuando yo miré la obra me quedé impresionado del profesionalismo de lo que estaban haciendo los actores y los cantantes. Dije, yo puedo hacer eso. Me di la oportunidad de pedir ser voluntario para Teatro Visión y apoyar a Teatro Visión porque me encantó lo que hacen. Y fue como llegué. Hace dos producciones anteriores, perdón, la producción anterior a la que se presentó este año, me dieron la oportunidad de actuar y cantar con ellos y realmente fue para mí algo maravilloso estar ahí, compartir el talento, si podemos decirle así, que yo tengo y las ganas de poder hacerlo. Para mí es algo maravilloso, yo lo hago con mucho gusto.
y Gustavo, para ti, ¿qué significa Macario y ser parte de esta obra, ya que las has visto antes? ah, Fuiste parte de la obra de 2022 y luego regresaste otra vez este año. ¿Qué te trae de regreso? ¿Qué significa para ti?
Mira, aparte de la actuación y el cantar, que es lo que me gusta y me encanta, la obra tiene un gran mensaje. Y yo creo que nosotros los latinos, aparte que nos podemos identificar por nuestras raíces culturales en la historia, las creencias que tenemos, la forma como fuimos educados culturalmente en nuestra idiosincrasia, creo que para mí el mensaje que tiene es precioso, ¿no? Y hay, sí, inclusive yo, todos los días estamos actuando cuando estamos presentando la obra y hay una parte en la obra en que yo tengo que contener las lágrimas porque estamos atrás nosotros de los actores principales y yo estoy escuchando cuando están cantando o están dando sus líneas y en esa parte donde le pide Macario a la muerte que lo deje ir a despedirse de su esposa, que quiere decirle cuánto la quiere, cuánto la ama y a sus hijos, porque es algo que no hizo. Y nosotros como latinos muchas veces de la manera como hemos sido criados es a reprimir nuestros sentimientos y a no mostrarlos. Y entonces cuando la muerte le dice eso ya es muy tarde, ya no lo puedes hacer. Es un momento de un aha moment para mí, decir, wow, tengo que hacerlo ahora, tengo que decirle a mi esposa y a mi familia cuánto los quiero, a mis amigos cuánto los quiero. Y créeme que me cambió la vida, porque yo de unos años para acá he empezado a decirle a la gente que los quiero, que son algo importante para mí, que realmente forman parte de mi vida y ellos influencian mi vida de alguna manera, pero se los hago saber, porque antes no lo hacía. Tenía una mutilación emocional que no me dejaba poderle decir a la gente y creo que esa parte a mí me ayudó a quebrar la barrera y a decir, hey, díselo ahora en vida, ahorita que puedes, porque va a haber un momento en que no lo vas a poder hacer y te vas a arrepentir. Y eso me ayudó la obra a mí.
Creo que eso es el teatro en su mejor versión. Es un tipo de arte que nos puede ayudar a abrir esas barreras, a conectarnos de mejor forma con nosotros mismos y también con las personas en nuestro alrededor. Me da mucha alegría y saber que ha tenido ese impacto para ti mismo. Espero que que también muchos de nuestra comunidad sienten ese impacto también cuando vienen a ver Macario y, bueno, las obras de teatro en general. Bueno, Gustavo, solo tenemos unos minutos que quedan, pero también quería preguntarte un poco sobre nuestro último evento de este año que tuviste parte el fin de semana pasado, nuestro evento de Navidad. ¿Nos puedes contar un poco de ser parte de ese evento?
Sí, claro. Para mí es también algo que me llena de orgullo, pero más de alegría, el poder participar en nuestras costumbres, ¿no? La posada es algo muy bonito en México. Estamos en otro país y que se siente con más emoción cuando lo podemos hacer. El poder compartir cómo lo hacemos en México, y cómo pues realmente seguimos esas costumbres y traerlas aquí para que la gente las conozca y que lo puedan transmitir a sus hijos. Yo creo que es una parte muy importante cuando hablamos con nuestros hijos y los hijos que tenemos, yo hablo de los míos, que de repente no saben si son mexicanos o americanos y están confundidos porque no viven en México, no conocen la cultura ampliamente, viven en otro país y tratan de combinar de alguna manera. Esto les ayuda más a reafirmar, en mi punto de vista, su cultura, de dónde vienen, sus raíces, qué es lo que nos gusta hacer, por qué lo hacemos. Y entender que, claro, esto es parte de la cultura religiosa que tenemos los mexicanos, quizás en otros países de igual manera, pero que lo puedan vivir, que lo puedan ver, que no nada más de que me contó mi abuelita que se hacía de esta manera, no, mira, así es como se hace, así es como cantamos, esto es como pedimos posada, esta es la forma como empezamos la posada y no nada más vamos a llegar a comer, tenemos que hacer primero el proceso de pedir la posada para poder llegar a lo que es la fiesta que finalmente celebramos, que a final de cuentas es la venida de Cristo, ¿no?
Y bueno, gracias por tomar parte de ese evento porque realmente fue un bonito evento comunitario que creo que, bueno, les muestro algunas fotos mientras hablamos, pero realmente hubo una oportunidad para que varios miembros de la comunidad se conectaran. Fue un momento, como dijo Blanca, que dirigió. Blanca fue nuestra ángel y dirigió a la posada. Como dijo ella, era una oportunidad para todos una conexión a la cultura, a las tradiciones, como dices tú. Realmente fue una manera muy bonita para terminar el año, para celebrar las fiestas de Navidad con todos y también para ser parte de algo más grande. Fuimos parte de la fiesta navideña de la Escuela de Arte y Cultura en el Mexican Heritage Plaza. Y realmente fue una bonita oportunidad para conectar con los otros artistas, y te lo agradeceremos mucho por ser parte de ese evento que lo hicimos por último momento, pero Gustavo, si lo han visto en obras de Teatro Visión, es un cantante magnífico, entonces realmente fue un buen líder para nuestra posada. Gracias, Gustavo.
No, gracias a ustedes por la oportunidad. Estamos a la orden. Y
Gracias.
feliz Navidad, feliz Año Nuevo para todos.
Gracias, Gustavo. Bueno, todos, we've reached the end of La Hora del Mitote. Gracias, Gustavo. Gracias a Magali y Liana. Están aquí con nosotros. Gracias por quedarse aquí. También está Rosana. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. La Hora del Mitote is our online speaker series. You can watch previous iterations on YouTube, on Facebook, on our website. We look forward to seeing you at future episodes of La Hora del Mitote. And we all want to wish you a happy holidays, felices fiestas from Teatro Visión and from all of us. Felices fiestas. Gracias a todos.